All right, hey guys, we're back here with a look at Litecoin to the dollar by request, right from the polling. This was our second choice. So I've got, this is a 4 hour on Coinbase. Has so many of the alts, it's open to interpretation. It could certainly be counted a couple of different ways. My goal is always to try and simplify, and as we get to a pivot down here, do we had, what, 20 bucks, around 20 bucks. Do we have a technical pivot down here, whether it's a WXYXZ or in trying to simplify here? I think there's a reasonable case for a WXY and for that to be in this. The subdivision in here isn't terrific, but I've got an impulse of correction, and then I can finish with 5. There is some technical things to take note of here. This is somewhat interesting, just to give you some more confidence that potentially this is a technical low. So just standard algo play, we can just grab the pivot here so we can see if I get this right on there. Well, so from here we, of course, 50, here's the first target. They bounce a little bit here. So there's some profit taking, thus the reaction, but ultimately they get second target to the tick down here. So that gives you some confidence that at the very least we have a technical pivot down here. Now we can get down to finishing here. There's a 5 that gets us down here. It's not gorgeous, but it works. So there's a 1, 2, 3. The 4 is a little skinny, and the 5 is a little skinny, but we can get there. So I've got a candidate here for a technical low. All right, now coming off of this, it starts to get more interesting. I think this may be, how this resolves here, I think may be a canary in the coal mine as to what we can expect, at least in the intermediate term here for, well, let's call it the majors. So if we've got a good low here, there's a reasonably strong case here that we've just gone 1, 2, 3. We're 3. There's a reasonable case here. I'll show you in a second that the 3 is in here. We're in the process of putting in the 4, and then we push up here. We'll use the first algo target as a reasonable target here. Would put us up in the high 60s, pushing $70. So let's dig into this low, coming off of this low, and see what we've got here. So a couple of things to note here. Let me pull this off here. So if this is a good low here, and the subdivision here, it's actually better here because we can get a cleaner 5 here coming from the 4. I can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's a little bit of a struggle for the 1, 2 here, but the 3, 4 looks very solid and is, of course, very technical. So coming off of this here, right? So there it is. I've shown it God knows how many hundreds of times now. So here's golden zone to target, little front run on the target likely, but if you're unsure, there's a little pop through for good measure. Now, with that established, so how do we know it's an algorithm? Look at the reaction. So coming off of this, all right? Now do we go to our 1 high? Now this again, just so very similar to what I was just talking about with Cardano here. So yet again, where are we looking for the 2? So we have clear algo activity here. So again, it's a little beyond the 618, right? For the people that don't know better, they'll put their stop there, right? They'll get tagged on the stop and up they go, leave them behind. So we go golden zone. Well, here we go again. First target. It's almost exactly what happened here. Here's the first target, little retrace, back up for good measure, just as we did here. Little retrace. Second target, little retrace. Third target, right? Oh God, this looks like it's technical. So if this is our fifth of the fifth of the third, right here again, right, guys. I don't know, I can show them to you all day, right? So, but you got to act on them. So there you go again. All right. So here's front run on the 50, right to target, reaction. Right. It's just one after the other, and that's the reality of trading right now. If you ignore this at your own peril, it's every time frame, every asset. I do not care what you can put in front of me. I will find that in there. It's always there. All right, so if you don't want to put that on your chart, I think that's, well, feel free to do so. I'll be happy to take the other side of your trades. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So here we go. Is it technical? What's the highest probability zone for the third? So right between the 1618 and the 175. Where do we go? Right between the 1618 and the 175. So is this a reasonable candidate for a third? Well, that's pretty strong evidence, right? You can see the fifth of the fifth here that plays it out. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So clear impulse in the 3, right to target, right where you're anticipating it. Of course, with 3 pivots like that, we're going to put some median lines on this. So we go down here, all right? We know this was a golden, so we got a golden corner pocket here. Well, let me put the whole thing back together so you see it. Right here, as I will remind you, if I could only use one tool, one thing, right? Give me one thing, right? I do just fine with median lines. So here's our golden corner, right? We actually get just enough in so that we have an official golden corner pocket, right? From there, so here's right to target. Look at the reaction, right? So first time I showed you, we didn't have the median lines on here. Reaction to the lower parallel, back to the median line, lower parallel, back to the median line, back to the median line. So it's just over and over and over again, and each one of these is technical. So you have, no question, we've got algorithms in here, which is good news, right? So that we can track what they did last. So 1, 2, 3, this is a candidate for a 3. Now, of course, it could at this point be an ABC, right? We can't just say with certainty here until we see if we get a 4, 5. Do we get this coming down? Do we get the 4, 5, right? Are we going to get that? Even still, some question as to whether or not we have a technical low here. This could be an ABC on a larger degree. So again, as much as I want to, it's not time to break out the bullhorn and let it rip. It's just, it's looking good, right? This is encouraging. Look at the Vegas wave, hold it all the way up. Right, so just pristine technical trading. For our methodology, this is one of the best charts on the board. It's just absolutely spectacularly technical, and all has been very good, right? So look at the subdivision here in the 5th. I'm still on a 1 hour. Look at this subdivision here, just textbook. Like I can't, Elliott 101. I can't script them any better than that. That just is absolutely perfectly technical, right? So Elliott skeptics, again, ignore it at your own peril. Okay, so there we go. 1, 2, potentially for the 3. So how are we going to know? Well, to some degree, how the subdivision plays here will be important. So this is where we're looking for it here, 23 to 38. So is there anything else we can lean into here? Any structure? So of course we always want to look left. So if we're looking for something technical in this range here. We certainly have a lot of congestion here looking left. Nothing that really screams at me to pay attention to. And of course, we could come down lower. If it's going to be a pivot here, within this context, come here. We've got this structure here, which looks like that's our 3 high of the 3rd. So before we go 4 and into the 5th of the 3rd. So this is some structure to pay attention to. You got a few little pivots here. That would be very shallow here to bump into this, but you can see this, we've hit it a couple of times, maybe. I'd have an alert here, right on the 23, just so I know if it's there, I don't want to miss it, right? This has been people trading this have been well rewarded, right? So 1, 2, 3 coming down for the 4. Now, could it go deeper? Sure, of course, right? Here's our wave 1 high. So we need to get some insight into the subdivision here, but if you were just So is there a trade here at the moment? No, I would not say this is a sell signal, but do we have a potential buy opportunity here? Absolutely. So anything here, do we get there at the median line? What would be look how many times that median line has come into play. Now, if we lose the time element here, we have to push higher, could be going further. No way to know, right? Until we see how this plays. So is there a trade setting up? Absolutely. There's not a trade there just yet, but boy, would this be very much on my hit list of things that I'm watching closely for. So pay attention here. Now, do we have anything below? So we've got some decent divergence here. You can see that. So it would make sense given the push here from the 3 into the 5. So that divergence down here, we're not as strong as we're putting in new highs here. But we don't have enough to really dig into yet for a 4. And how technical are we? What's the subdivision like? You know, I'm on a 4-hour here. So if we go down to a lower time frame, can I get a clean ABC out of this? If so, that's certainly a candidate. Well, with that said, if we push up here and we get to some of these targets are here, whether it's algo or median line, all that's going to do, right? So it's not just buy and hold. If you're going to trade this, what would that be giving us, right? If we complete an impulse, so potentially on the larger degree, we just have a 1, 2, and 3. Again, we got to put those somewhere. So let's change our color, bring our degree up. to something minuet will work. So if this is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, all we're going to do is have, well, let's use this. We're going to have our algo target, pardon me. If we use our algo target as our pivot, now we got to go all the way back to the low, right? We completed impulse. We're looking for the next trade at the 50. So we would end up with this moving over here. So we'd have this on a longer term if we're going to come up and this plays. So now we're looking for the larger degree ABC. Then we're looking for the big push up. So we got to wait and see. It's a little bit, it's very encouraging to see this, but until we get more confirmation here that we haven't just done ABC, well, of course, some of the tells will be if we're coming down here, okay, is it A, B, or 1, 2, right? Because if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, we'll know pretty quickly by how deep this goes. And if it starts doing that, well, look, you know, if we're coming down here and we're getting to these levels, where here's 12 bucks, 8 bucks, right? That would be, if it's ABC, we're going to run out of room. So this can't be 1, 2. So it's just based on where we are, how low it can go, this is very encouraging to see, right? And I think this could be, as I said earlier, maybe the canary in the coal mine for what we can expect across the board, right? If this completes here and we come down, we hold this 2, you know, could start making some. I could start making things interesting here. If we get that, well, then I think we can start looking for, you know, what's happening across the board in crypto, right? Maybe this is just the beginning of crypto spring, right? As we start to thaw from our 13 months into our bear trend. This is one to be watching, like, because this is very encouraging to see how technically this is trading in this nice subdivision. All the structure, the algos are obviously in here. One to be watching, right? I'm hopeful here that this is a good sign for us. So with that, pay attention here. Next one down, I'd have alerts going off here. No reason to assume this isn't going to continue, but obviously, right, let's get a stop on it, right? Because it could. You know, this isn't there is no certainty, guys, in the market, right? There's only probabilities, and then there's money management. So is there a trade setting? Absolutely, right? I can promise you my alerts will be on here. All right, guys. So there you go. Looking good. All right, talk to you later.